Let's take a look at how a cash value life insurance program can crush a 401k for retirement income. You ready? Let's do this. Okay, right here I have a client who I helped earlier this year. And as you can see on your screen, which I will enlarge for you and use a drawing tool, this client is a male who's 41 years old, and he qualified for a Preferred Plus non-tobacco rating. And you'll see that his contract premium, he's contributing $50,000 per year. And as we get into this program here, I'll show you how he's going to end up funding this policy for 20 years and then using it to take a tax-free retirement income. Now, on day one, what that's going to do is it's going to give him a death benefit of $1.5 million of protection for his family. Now, we're doing this primarily for the retirement income and how the tax code treats retirement income and what that can do for them. But that death benefit is going to be really important as well. Now, you're going to see right here in the middle, you'll see this box that says these values are non-guaranteed. Now, this is based on today's economic climate, today's interest rates, and the current dividend scale. And life insurance companies are very, very conservative. They will only project values into the future based on today's returns and not some pie in the sky like, oh, we hope that we're going to get you this. No, they're just taking today's returns and projecting them into the future as if they're never going to go up or down. Okay. Now, taking a look at this gentleman's total premium contribution, he's doing $50,000 per year consistently over the course of 20 years. You'll see that in the bottom left-hand corner. And then at the 20-year mark, we're going to turn off the funding. We're going to do what's called a reduced paid up. And you'll notice that over the next 5 years, he's not going to put any more premiums in. And so the cumulative amount that he puts into his contract is $1 million. And then again, he's not putting any more in over the next few years. However, the interest will continue to grow. So in the 20th year, there's $1.6 million of cash value. But over the next 5 years, that amount will grow to nearly $2.1 million, even though he's not contributing any more premiums during that time. Now, at age 67, at full Social Security retirement age, he is going to turn on income and start taking tax-exempt cash flow from this policy. Now, he's putting in $50,000 a year for 20 years, and then he's letting it grow for 5 years. So what is the rate of return on that policy? Well, the rate of return on that policy is 4.63%. Internal rate of return. That means net after all the costs of insurance, after any fees, net 4.63%. Now, when you're thinking about rate of return, that's nothing to write home about. That rate of return is kind of like, meh. But what this isn't supposed to be some kind of speculative investment. We're holding this in our portfolio as a bond substitute or as a banking alternative. So 4.63% might not seem that exciting. However, if you're open-minded, you will quickly learn that true wealth isn't just about chasing rates of return and about building a large net worth. True wealth, especially when it comes to retirement, is about net after-tax income in your pocket. And so that encompasses three things. Number one, what is the distribution mechanism? How can this thing kick off cash flow, and why is it better than a 401k? Then number two, how does the tax code treat those distributions? And then number three, how will these distributions affect your other government retirement benefits like Social Security and like Medicare? Let's check it out. If we're going to compare life insurance to a 401k that's invested in a well-managed portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, on the day that we retire, the rules of the game change because no longer are we focused on accumulation and trying to build a big pile of money. Now the name of the game becomes cash flow. It becomes income. And the rules all change when you're withdrawing money out of a portfolio versus investing money into it. And so Investopedia is a great resource we have on our screen right now. How much income can a retiree withdraw from their portfolio and do so safely without running out of money? And that rule has historically been called the 4% rule. Now, the reason that you can only withdraw 4% out of your portfolio is because markets are volatile. Markets move up and down. So this is research that's been studied on stock market data going all the way back to the 1920s. And that's what they came up with, was the 4% rule. Meaning on a $1 million portfolio, you can withdraw $40,000 of income per year and do that consistently and have a 90% chance of not running out of your money sometime during your life. Now, why only 4%? Because stock markets are very, very volatile. Imagine if you thought to yourself, hey, because the stock market tends to average 8 or 10% return, I can withdraw 8 or 10% from my retirement portfolio. That's the way that most people think, but it doesn't work that way. For example, look at those red arrows on your screen. From 2007 to 2009, during those 3 down years, the S&P 500 tanked 57%. Now imagine if you were a retiree pulling money out of your portfolio and you did so at 10% a year for those 3 years, you would have drained your retirement account by 87% during those 3 years. You're toast. You're done for. You're going to run out of money. It doesn't matter that the next 10 years was one of the greatest bull markets that our country has ever seen, because you depleted your retirement account so drastically that you don't have enough money left to take advantage of the recovery. So that's where the 4% rule came from. It's a way to pace retirees for their income throughout the course of their lives. The problem being is that doesn't create a lot of income. And that's why having a non-correlated asset class that can serve as a volatility shield like life insurance can be such a drastic improvement for your retirement income. Why? Because life insurance can never lose principal due to a market correction. It has a much higher safe withdrawal rate. The safe withdrawal rate on this gentleman's policy is 7.25%. Let's check this out. You'll see that at full Social Security age, at age 67, he starts taking a retirement income of $151,000 per year over the course of a 20-year income stream. It's almost like he's funding his own 20-year pension. And so what happens is during his working years, he put in $50,000 a year for 20 years. And then at full Social Security retirement age 67, he takes out $150,000 per year for 20 years. So that is a 3-to-1 return on his money with no stock market risk and completely income tax free. And then at the end of those 20 years, he still has a death benefit in place. If he were to die at the age of 85, he still has a death benefit in place of $1 million, which means that he gets back all the money he ever put into this plan to make it happen. Well, he doesn't because he's dead, but his family's going to get that money. So all the money he put in, he's going to recapture that money and keep it in his family to help create legacy and help create generational wealth. So let's look at the totals for this gentleman's policy. A total contribution of $1 million over the course of 20 years during his accumulation phase. A total potential retirement cash flow, if he lives for 20 years till age 85, of over $3 million. And then if he dies at age 85, a legacy or a death benefit of over $1 million. And all of this is income tax free. He doesn't pay a dime of income tax on that $3 million of cash flow, and his family doesn't pay a dime of income tax on the $1 million death benefit. And unlike a 401k, he doesn't give up control of his money by locking it up until he's 59 and a half years old. He can utilize and access that money by using his policy as collateral in order to acquire productive assets throughout the course of his working years, whether it is expanding his business, acquiring a new business, purchasing rental real estate, whatever the case might be. And even when he is using his cash to acquire those productive assets, that money is still growing uninterrupted compound interest within his policy. So he's learned how to get his money working for him in 2 places at once. Now let's compare the distributions from his life insurance contract to a 401k and how his 401k would have to perform in order to equal the output of that life insurance contract. Now, we're going to call this the 401k capital equivalent value. So his life insurance policy, he is receiving $151,482 net from the distributions on his life insurance policy. But remember, when you take distributions from a 401k, you have to pay income tax. So he's going to have to take out actually more income and then pay the federal and state income tax in order to net $151,000. Now, a taxable distribution of $151,000, that puts him in the 24% federal tax bracket. And then assuming he's in a state that has a 6% income tax bracket, he would actually have to take out $216,403 gross withdrawal, pay 30% income tax in order to net the $151,000 coming from a life insurance policy. So in order to be able to withdraw $216,000 per year, kind of reverse engineering and working backwards using the 4% safe withdrawal rule, how much money would he need to build up in a 401k type IRA account? And just again, working backwards, take $216,000 at a 4% safe withdrawal rate. He would need to grow $5.4 million within a pre-tax IRA in order to take 4% a year and then pay the income tax in order to net the $151,000 that the life insurance policy is giving him. Now, during, using this model during this time period for 20 years, he's contributing $50,000 and then he stops and he lets it grow for 5 years. So I ran the math. What percent rate of return would he need using that scenario in order to grow his money to $5.4 million? And the answer is he would need a 10% true rate of return, not average rates of return, but true annualized rate of return, 10%. Now, is that doable? Well, most people have been kind of brainwashed that 10% is the average of the market. And that's not true. Now, is it? Let me show you. All right, so let's check this out. This is a very nice online tool that's going to show us the history of the S&P 500, as we refer to it as the overall stock market. So let's just take a look. Since the turn of the century, what's been the true rate of return average in the stock market? So from January 2000 to where we're at right now, as this video is being recorded, November of 2021, we're going to calculate that. And you're going to see that the annualized S&P 500 return is just 5.614%. Just 5.614%. Remember those times I showed you earlier, all the up and downs. And if you had the guts and the discipline to reinvest all of your dividends during that time period, instead of maybe taking some of those dividends as supplemental income, if you reinvested all of the dividends, the best you would have done is 7.578%. So let's round that up and say 7.6%. That is a far cry from the 10% net rate of return, because this isn't even taking into consideration any kind of advisor fees or 401k management fees, things of that nature. You would need a true 10% net rate of return after all the fees and costs. Is that possible? Maybe. You've seen in the last 20 years, we've had a lot of volatility, a lot of really high highs followed by crashes and extremely low lows. Is 10% doable? Maybe. But when we're talking about the foundation of your retirement income plan, what would you rather have? Predictable or just possible? Because it's possible that the stock market performs. Maybe. But this right here, cash value life insurance, is very, very predictable. And it's guaranteed to always grow, and it's guaranteed to never lose you any money. So when you take these distributions from your cash value life insurance contract, these distributions are completely exempt from federal income tax. You don't pay any state income tax. You don't pay any local or municipal income tax. These distributions do not count in the provisional income calculation that determines how much of your Social Security benefits will be taxable. That scenario that I showed you earlier taking out $216,000 in order to match the net income from a life insurance policy, it'll make your Social Security benefits, 85% of it will become taxable. And you're getting really close to triggering the Medicare surcharge tax, which is going to increase your premiums for Medicare. And in addition, you don't have any market risk. You don't have to have any indexes that you have to follow. And as far as politics go and the threat of rising taxes in the future, I don't really care who gets into the Oval Office. So repeat after me. Life insurance is not a 10% rate of return, but the tax code will allow you to spend it as if it is. And that, my friends, is why a cash value life insurance contract will absolutely crush a 401k for your retirement income. I hope that this helped, and we'll talk to you later.